Hey everybody, it's Odd Dust and welcome into the Mosh Pit. I wanted to go over the new Necropolis League from the perspective of somebody who's more of a casual player. You know, you see a lot of these guys out here that are giving you guides and information about the game, and they're crushing it. They're playing constantly. They're streaming it for 9 straight hours, you know, and I don't really have time to do all that. I'm more of a casual player, even though I do put in a decent amount of time into these games every league when I can. I do not play from, you know, hours and hours and hours. I just can do it as a casual and still get a lot of fun out of it. So I thought, you know, I don't really see a lot of people making videos about Path of Exile from the perspective of somebody that doesn't have a whole lot of time. So I thought I'd do it. My brief experience with Path of Exile, I started Path of Exile once when the Harvest League was out, and it was so confusing that I couldn't figure it out, and I didn't have a whole lot of people playing it. And just didn't have the time, and something else came out. So I stopped playing it, uninstalled, and I really wanted to get into it last league. So right before Affliction League, I reinstalled the game and started watching videos. And I watched, I don't even know how many videos, probably hundreds of hours of videos from a lot of the different, you know, major streaming and YouTube Path of Exile streamers, Zizarin, Subtractum, Ghazi, Tuna, all those people, and figured out, you know, I'm going to play Affliction. And I played a bunch of Affliction. I got started with the SRS Guardian, playing on softcore trade. And that was fun to an extent, but I really just didn't like the minion playstyle. So then I heard about SSF, and that is where you play and you don't have any trade available, and you just find whatever you find, and that's your game. And that sounded fun. It sounded like a good challenge for me, too. Found a Bone Shatter Jug guide and did Bone Shatter Jug all the way up until into the late 90s, I think I got with that, and then started to fall off on interest because I just couldn't get the gear that I needed. And so I started trying to build my own build in Affliction, which is going to be the most metal build ever, where I was only picking things on the passive tree that sounded metal, and that just did not work. It was a staff and block stacking type of playthrough, and God, did that fail. But it was using Exsanguinate and Reap, and I really wanted to try to make that work, so I did some more research before this league, and that's what I built. And I'll go over my build and specifically what I've been doing with it at the end of the video if you want to fast forward to that. I just kind of wanted to go over brief how I've experienced Path of Exile and where I'm at now, and what I think about the Necropolis League from the perspective of a casual. So after learning a ton about Path of Exile, which I'm not going to go into any of the learning parts, because you really got to go out there and just watch a lot of videos to learn all the information that you can to help you just play the game. Now, one thing I felt, which is great for me because I like playing on SSF, I'm still playing on SSF, this Necropolis League, the campaign gave me all kinds of stuff. I got so much extra stuff because each time you go into a new zone, the lantern gives you all kinds of opportunity to get more drops. And so there's a whole bunch more stuff for somebody who's playing SSF. It's quite a bit of extra stuff. I haven't really done a ton with the body crafting because it's so complicated and a little convoluted, and people are still trying to figure out how it even works. But there is a lot of things that you're getting during the campaign. Now, for some reason, I don't know why, it still takes me a long time to get through the campaign, probably because I've only played through 3 leagues. But yeah, it took me about 9 to 10 hours to get through the campaign, but I got through pretty smoothly. I only died maybe once or twice. Didn't really have gear issues, didn't really have res issues until I got into maps. Then I really started having to focus on some of that stuff, which is fairly normal. But man, you got so much extra stuff. It was crazy. During the campaign, I got early unique scepter that really kind of helped elevate my build and keep me going, which is crazy. You know, you never know when you're going to get uniques that help, and I got one real early. And I've also got quite a few uniques dropping just all over the place. You can get lots of loot on this without having to juice up the maps too, so that's another big benefit I've found, is that you can just do a magic map on the early maps and still get tons and tons of stuff without having to do a rare map. And you know, you don't really need rare maps to complete your atlas, so you can do magic maps because the maps themselves have so many extra added modifiers on them. It probably helps to just do magic maps in the early until you get your resistances up and you've got your defenses. Probably helps to just not do rare maps unless you really have things under control. And you can customize your experience. You know, every time you go into a new zone or you're running a new map, you can really move that stuff around to make it be what you want. There's all these new scarabs now that you can add all kinds of things to the map to make it even better. You're getting tons of XP. I mean, I'm leveling really fast, even though I'm not barely out of white maps. I'm still leveling pretty fast, which is pretty awesome. The fact that I'll have multiple Atlas trees eventually so that I can do some farming for specifics is also pretty amazing without having to respec your Atlas tree and do this kind of farming and then respec again and do this kind of farming. You can just kind of set up one Atlas tree the way you need it for the beginning, and then later on when you're wanting to do more specific target farming, you can add a new Atlas tree, which I haven't got to yet, but that's also another great SSF benefit that wasn't there before, where it was a little bit more difficult. I don't have anybody to buy from in SSF, so this league itself has added all kinds of great new things that I feel make SSF even more pleasurable. The crafting and the added tattoos back, I wouldn't play in the league that had the tattoos, so I'm still trying to figure out where I would even want to put those. I haven't gotten that many. I think gotten maybe 3 tattoos. None of them have been anything that would be very helpful for me, but I'm hoping to get more as I get into yellow and red maps. Crafting, though, it has been a little frustrating. I thought at first when I saw the body crafting, I was like, oh, sweet. I'm going to have a new way to craft that maybe I'll be able to understand a little bit more than the other ways to craft, which has not been the case. I feel like the crafting this crafting is even harder. It felt confusing as it was with the bestiary crafting and harvest crafting and delve crafting, but man, those at least you could tell this does this thing, where the bodies, it's like this might do this thing, and good luck with that. Again, they've added yet another RNG aspect to the game, and that's probably the only frustration I think, is that I really had hoped to use the body crafting more than I am currently, and that's been a little frustrating because I like the idea, and I also like the collection of the bodies. I filled up my morgue pretty quick because I still don't really know what I want to craft yet. I've just been getting stuff off the ground. But I'm starting to pile up bodies in my stash tabs. I have a bunch available just for body crafting. And eventually I'm going to get to a place where I feel like I'm going to be ready to start trying to build a few different things. I'm probably at that place now because I need some new gloves. I'll eventually make myself available for that. I'm still just getting through maps and trying to open up my Atlas enough to where the game feels like it's giving me enough things to do. I'll go over my build here real quick. I told you last time at the beginning of the video I was trying to build a metal build last, which was a bunch of staff and block and all the stuff for a witch, because you know, a witch seems about the most metal character there is, and I was using a whole lot of block and staff. I was like, no one uses a staff either, and staffs are way more metal than anything else. Haven't you seen Black Sabbath videos? So instead I went with a Scion. I found a build on Reap and Exsanguinate Scion that I've been kind of using as a guide to build my own stuff. I did a lot of life stacking in this, and because Reap and Exsanguinate use life, we're doing all kinds of extra damage with life. Res, so that I have my res up, and I'm building towards some more res and some more elemental damage. Eventually I think I'll probably end up moving into a cluster jewel setup to get even more damage from that, and elemental damage. I moved into some of these. This one here gives me increased spell damage and crit strike chance for spells, which has really helped. And then a lot of resistances as well. I found this, I was trying to find Val Reap, and I found a totem that creates consecrated ground. It's one of the transfigured gems. Holy Flame Totem of Ire. It is also linked with Life Leech support. So that it extra damages leeches life. Also multiple totem support, so that when I throw them out, the 2 of them are happening. And I also have my Summon Flame Golem. I was doing Stone Golem in my testing pre-league, but I decided to try out the Summon Flame Golem instead for the extra damage. I'm not sure how well I've really felt the extra damage. Just a little bit, 19% decent increased damage. It is also doing life leech for me, so anything where I can get more life, since I'm expending life every time I do an attack, helps. I'm using Reap with Val Reap. That's been very helpful. I also have +1 level of socketed AoE gems. It's considered an AoE spell, so that's helped as well. I do want to probably get, this is crafted on there, so I probably want to get some better gloves. I'm pretty much better all gear. I mean, really need to upgrade. I also have cast when damage taken on with Molten Shell, vulnerability, and concentrated effect, which I just put on there. I expanded out these boots and got a 4-link. I was running on 3-link for a long time and it was fine, but I'm trying out concentrated effect with Molten Shell to try to get a little bit. It doesn't have as much area of effect, but it does create more damage. Same for vulnerability is linked to that, so that it gives a little bit more curse. We'll see. It's so far I've actually enjoyed this. Cast when damage taken has helped quite a bit, because I would put Molten Shell on my left click, but they took that away this league. I also have Tempest Shield, because I've got a shield. This shield is a little weird. I don't know that I like it so much, because it gives you minus 10% suppress spell damage prevented, so it's a little bit less of the prevented spell damage. So I don't know if I like this shield as something that's going to get me into red maps or anything, but it dropped and I wanted to use it. This one here dropped from, I want to say that it dropped from June, one of the June missions, and had the increased spell damage. I can't remember where I got it. It's incubating something right now. It's got increased elemental damage, increased spell damage, increased cast speed, physical attack damage leeches life, and then I crafted on physical damage over time multiplier, and that's helped bump up my damage just a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. With Repo, I forgot to say, I'm also doing elemental prolif and sadism support. And then I also have Frostblink, so I can move around faster, and my Exsanguinate, once I get 6-link, I will swap this out and have Exsanguinate doing a 6-link setup, which will probably really boost up. It probably will double my damage, I would think, once I get up to that point. Currently, Exsanguinate is supported by Unleash, Chain Support, and Brutality, and I'll add up a couple of more in here. I've been messing around with things because I'm trying to create my own build. What I'll do is I'll come over here to Lily. I don't usually play zoomed in, but a little more fun for the video. I'll come over here to Lily and look at all of her gems.
Hail, God
I have
Slayer.
asked her to be here in my hideout and right next to my stash, so I can talk to her
Hail,
with
God
divination
Slayer.
cards, and also to purchase gems, because she has all the gems. And I'll come into whatever color slot I have. Like this one here, I got 4 reds and a blue, and I didn't want to mess around with it. So I was like, okay, well, what blue could work with these? And I would just buy a gem and stick it in there and say, okay, did it light up? Okay, well, is that going to be good? Yes. Oh, actually, that does look like it's going to be good. Sweet. Okay, let's try it out. And that's how I've been building this build, is just grabbing a gem, throwing it in a slot, and seeing if it links up. If it does, then sweet. If it doesn't, then I'd take it off. It costs hardly anything for these gems. These things are costing like 1 orb of alchemy, 1 orb of chance. It's like, it doesn't cost anything. Grab it, throw it in there, and learn how to build something on myself. Because I wanted to try this league after playing multiple guides on the last league, I wanted to try to play my own build this league, which still is pretty metal with Reap and Exsanguinate. I've been enjoying it, and it's working out pretty well. I do have a little bit of struggle on the defense side, probably because of this freaking weird shield. But yeah, we're getting there. And if you saw anything on this build that you thought I could maybe do a little bit better, go ahead and put something in the comments down below. I could use any help I could get on building this out. I'm not hoping to do Ubers with this, but I would like to get through red maps and potentially get to a place where I'm doing like 1 million damage or more. just to be able to say, you know, I did it on my own and got all the way through red maps with my own build. I think that's, as far as a casual player goes, probably a good destination, I think. And if this helped you out at all, go ahead and give me a like. If you're all the way at this part of the video, then thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I just want to put this out because I really love Path of Exile and ARPGs in general. And I thought, you know, a video from a casual's perspective might be interesting. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.